Welcome back to Building Blindly. In this segment, I want to show you what I did with a table. Again, I'm using exterior treated lumber, which you normally would not use for a table, but this is going on a deck, and I had some in the shop. So I put this together to make a couple of tables. And again, I wanted to show you about this tool called Dowelmax. This is an incredible tool, and I want to show you how I use this. First of all, I put tape on the front of this, because this is what you want to do to line things up. You have tape and then a tape here. They say check mark to check mark if you can see, but if you can't see, you use a tape. However, on the edge of this block, there's also a check mark. So normally you'd go from the area you started, you'd put a check mark or tape on this end. So rather than confuse you, I'm going to say tape to tape, because that's what I use for this method. Simply Dowelmax unit. And what I did for a spacer, I want it 3.5 inches off the floor. So I take this block and I put it here, holding it, and I set this up against it. So now I know I'm 3.5 inches off the floor. I crank this down with this here again, because they have their own clamps. There's no clamping here. Everything is included. That's what makes this product so great. Make sure everything is snug. Make sure all these fittings are snug. I have a spacer in here because I want to center it to the 2x4. Then you grab your drill. I use my fingers to line up the cylinders. I take the drill, set it in here. These are already pre-drilled for the sake of time. And I would go 1 and 2 is what I did. So the last 2 holes. Loosen this up, pull it ahead, and here's the holes of what it makes. Now I would slide this all the way to the other end. Now, if I was doing it in between, I would use this tool here. Again, this tool has 2 indents on the end, so this is always your measuring end. Line this up here, setting it here, bring my block. If I was going to have it down, if I wanted the holes in between, I'd bring that block up to it. But in this case, I'm just going to the end, tighten this up, grab my drill, line it up. In this case, I'm doing 4 holes. So I would go 1, 2, I would skip hole 3 and go 4 and 5. And that would give me plenty of strength. This here is the leg, as I said. So with that leg, this is what it would look like. And again, I have my tape at the top, showing that's where it comes in at the other. On this side, I've already drilled holes this way with a different conglomeration, clamping on and drilling down in. So what I would do now is, I would take these that I've already put together, stand them on end, then I would take this and I would move this so it all lines up. Again, tape to tape, the outside edge, and again the check mark in here. You would actually make a line or a check mark down in here. I've got a little indent right here. So anywhere you're always drilling, you'll want to make an indent so you know that that's what goes on here. So that being said, I'm going to take and put a couple of the dowels in just to line this up and show you how it works. I don't want to put too many in because this is just putting it together. And then you just line your holes up again, tape to tape, tape to tape. Lining this one up, feeling underneath. And then feeling underneath here. And just slap it. And then it comes down, and as you see, all I have to do now is just sand that to make it good. But now what I'm going to do is tilt it this way, and you'll see how all the holes are lined up here for the table. So I would come here first, feel into here, line this hole up. And then come down here and do the same. Tap it just a little bit. Come up here, feel this hole. Line this up, tap it just a little bit, and the same up here, and tap it. All this lines up, and then I've already done the bottom, and then what I'll do here again is take this. Remember, this is rough lumber. This is a rough lumber look for a deck. And then I would position this here on the table using Z-clamps to hold this down, because this is going to have some shrinkage on it. Different times of the season, as wood does, being wet and then dry. But this is how it would line up on here. it, I would line it up this way. Come down here, line this up, then come back up here. Again, this is rough. We're going to have this all sanded. Everything works together. But just to show you how Dowelmax is just an excellent product, I encourage you to try it, especially for the blind and the visually impaired. There is so much feeling that goes on here that it is so accurate you do not have to worry about a thing. This concludes this segment. I appreciate you taking your time, and I'll see you in the next video.